Welcome to 1 Degree of Scandalous. Kato, Kalen, and Tom Zenner here. We are going to break down the 5 biggest scandals of the week. 5 or so. It was a good week for scandal, Kato. Wasn't bad.
That's our show, Scandal.
Yes, and thankfully, Hollywood and celebrities always give us great material to use. And this week, it involves a lot of big names. And what do you say we start with Madonna? So she's being sued. Okay, now she's in her 60s, Kato. Now, all the rockers continue to perform into their 60s, 70s, 80s as long as they can. Here's my problem with Madonna. Now, she's being sued for starting her concerts too late. It's a class action suit. She was supposed to start at 8:30. She came out there at 10:30. I mean, all her fans are getting old now, Kato. They have early bedtimes.
She's got a good reason, Tom. Come on.
You think?
Yeah, because Metamucil takes a while to kick in.
Is that right? Because you got to stir it up a little bit. Sometimes you get a little coagulated. You got to make sure that stuff stays smooth.
Let me tell you what. I saw her at the venue, the AARP Coliseum. Tom. It was amazing.
She was good.
It was, oh my God. I said, look at the legs on her. I was talking about the walker. Those are aluminum based.
You know, how about those backup dancers? They're all wearing Depends now. I mean, she kept the same team with her from the 80s.
The only concert you don't want to be in the front row. Yeah, it's it starts late. I was Prince had a venue in Vegas. I went to that show. The ticket starts at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. But the contract was he comes on when he comes on. He came on at 1 a.m. Mm-hmm. and he played till 6 a.m.
Okay, that's normal. And I was going to say, there's one guy that can get away with this. One performer. It's Prince.
Yeah.
That's what you expected from him. Okay?
When you're a star and you have one name, Prince, Madonna, Elvis, Kato, you know you can do whatever you want.
Okay, but there's one exception to that. Adele. I'm not waiting an extra 5 minutes for her.
No.
Not a big fan. Anyway, back to Madonna. Yeah. So this is like a real lawsuit. And she's had a history of this. Okay, this is nothing new for her. I think you got to be a little bit more punctual. I don't like stars that keep their fans waiting. Travis Scott had a big concert out here, okay, and in L.A., and I know people that went to it, and they were waiting like an extra 2 hours for him. I hate that. I mean, come on, man. These are your fans. You got to keep them happy. They have lives too.
I agree with you and everything, but I don't think that's you should get a lawsuit. I do think you should get a full refund.
Yeah, but that's the last thing they want. They'll never do that. They'll take their chances in court. Now, is this kind of a frivolous lawsuit? Maybe it is. I mean, they're turning it into a class action lawsuit, and she's been sued before for this. Now, here's my take on Madonna. Look, she was amazing. The 80s, she personified that decade, that era. There was no one bigger than Madonna. But when you get older, don't you think you have to evolve a little bit? I mean, she's basically doing her same act from the 80s and 90s. Are you cool with that?
I've never saw it, so the first time I'd see it, I'd want all those tunes. I would want to see the old act more than anything. I think that, first of all, like you said, they're all getting a lot older, and I think from the pictures that she did I don't think the surgery went over great. I mean, when she kind of looks like from the movie Saw, the one on the bike. That's her. Have you seen it?
No.
Well, she said, and I'm Madonna. Mm-hmm. It's funny, Tom, because Madonna's out of Michigan, and it seems like all these performers are, now obviously the new one is Lady Gaga. It's the Madonna of that era. Mm-hmm. So it's just, how it fluctuates, how one star it burns bright and eventually fades, and you want to keep that star lit. So she can still sell out and she can do her thing, but it's tough to go to when you're a bit older. Yeah,
I saw her in 1989. I saw Like a Prayer, that tour. It was amazing. I saw it in Oakland. It was awesome. But that's when she was at the peak of her game.
Yeah.
And now she's trying so hard to stay relevant. You get that vibe with Madonna, but she's such a legend. I mean, her catalog is unbelievable.
But are they paying the same price from 89?
No, I don't think so. Because if you
now can't be.
No. If you adjust this for inflation, as a matter of fact, the guys that are suing her, the tickets were $155 and about $300.
Yeah.
So if you adjust that for inflation, the tickets now should be $700-800, probably closer to $1,000.
Right.
But you know what? She was Taylor-esque back then. That's how big she was.
Oh, she was the biggest star.
She was big. I mean, she was as big as you could. And she was controversial.
But the thing is,
shocking.
with her, she's also was different from Taylor because she was a legitimate actress in films with Antonio Banderas, and then her other film, Truth or Dare, made big chunk of change, and then Shanghai Express, Shanghai, whatever, with Sean Penn. You had all these things, so she married a major A-list star for a while. So it's a little different.
Well, I think here's a rule. when you have to take rust remover for your coned metal bra, it might be time to evolve your act a little bit, right? You got to go down to like Home Depot, polish that thing up. And she's still wearing it.
You don't want to be her in front of you during TSA. She's not going to get through.
She's not going to.
She's just going to keep beeping.
Okay, now you were on a reality show with Lindsay Lohan's mom.
Yeah.
Like you guys go way back.
Dina
You're
Lohan,
friends.
Fantastic woman.
Okay, so they're doing a remake. Tina Fey's doing a remake of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's based on the musical. So, and that's what, you think of that movie, you think of
remake
Lindsay.
of the film coming out.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Lindsay Lohan's not in it. The entire original cast is not in it. By the way, did you know Rachel McAdams was in the original? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay, I found that fascinating. So here's the controversy here. Here's the scandal. In the remake, they refer to Lindsay Lohan as Fire Crotch.
Well, that's not fair to Madonna.
No kidding, right? That thing was on fire for a while, wasn't it? Yeah. You need like an asbestos suit to get near Madonna back then. Jose Canseco, all those guys. But you know what? I don't blame Lindsay Lohan for being pissed off. I mean, come on, Lindsay. I'm a fan of Lindsay Lohan. I know she was a train wreck for a while, but I love her.
Yeah,
I like that vibe with her.
But I don't. Me personally, I think that's something that she should take and embrace it. And it's kind of funny if you think about it that she should be bigger than that situation. I mean, being called the Fire Crouch and by I think
no, Hilton. It was Hilton.
With Paris, but Davis said it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that's not a bad thing. You could make that, instead of saying don't say it, you should think of something smarter for a reply, like take it out of the film or.
Okay, so you think she went a little bit overboard by being offended by it?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think she's in the sequel as a cameo.
No, she's not. I mean,
okay.
No, I'm almost positive that she's not. As a matter of fact, Tina Fey was thinking maybe she'd move her into the back of the movie, like the very end. She makes this, unexpected cameo, but I don't think she's in it.
I think if anything, they should have made her a teacher.
Yeah, a teacher? Yeah, that would have made sense. Tina Fey plays that role again, so she's in it.
But just a cameo like in the teacher's lounge. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there would have been room for her. They obviously chose not to bring her in. When that movie came out in 2004, so it's the 20-year anniversary of it, my daughter was 6 years old, Brooke, who's getting married in 2 weeks, okay? She's 26 now. I took her to that movie at the age of 6. Now, when I look back at that, as a parent, I think I may have made a mistake. I maybe think that might have been the best movie for a 6-year-old.
For a 6-year-old, I don't think she could comprehend everything in that film, though.
She's pretty sharp. I don't know. I was hoping she wasn't getting it, but you're right. She probably could get it. But at the end of that movie, I told Shanta, I took Brooke to that movie last night. She goes, what? Why? Why did you do that?
But anyway, obviously, it didn't affect Brooke at all. She's terrific. So
she is terrific. Okay, so yeah, and then Lindsay Lohan's dad got pissed off too, and he jumped into the fray. Too. But you know what? I like Lindsay Lohan.
I like Lindsay. Love Dina. She's terrific.
Are you able to talk about that show idea that you had with Dina Lohan? The van.
There was a few things that we worked on, but
traveling around in that bus.
Well, it was. I don't know where she is in a relationship right now. It was going to be finding Dina a husband.
I love the concept.
Yeah.
We talked about that a while ago. It was really cool.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so here's another one. Another story for the week. Richard Simmons, haven't heard from him in a long time. Pauly Shore, haven't heard from him in a long time. Pauly is making a movie. There's a short that he's already created on the life of Richard Simmons, and he plays Richard Simmons. And he does a pretty decent job. But the scandal is Richard Simmons is kind of pissed off. He says, I'm laying low right now. I didn't approve this. Right. Pauly Shore's doing this. Pauly's being pretty cool about it, and you know Pauly. Yeah. So what did you think when you heard Pauly Shore was playing Richard Simmons? As someone that has hung out with him for a couple decades here, did you think he can pull it off?
I think it's great. Of course he can pull it off. Pauly did a film. I don't know how many people saw it, but it's called Pauly Shore is Dead. And I'm telling you, it is a really good film. And Pauly, wrote and directed it, and he got every A-list person to be in this film. From Sean Penn's in it. It's basically about Pauly faking his death to become famous again, to relevant. Everybody's thinking about his death, and I have a really funny role in it. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to check it out. Playing yourself, obviously.
Yeah, you can. It's you have to see how I play it.
Okay.
You'll laugh out loud. So, Pauly's talented. I think he'll pull off I saw the picture too, by the way. He could pull off.
He looks like him.
Yeah.
Now you think of Pauly Shore, he's obviously typecast, right? Hey, he's just the whole vibe that he had in the 90s, which is funny as hell, right? And his mom's a legendary, owner of the Comedy Store here in LA. He does pull it off physically. He looks like him. Yeah. But it's one of those roles where, you don't expect a guy like that to be doing it. And then you're shocked that he can actually pull it off. I saw the short. It's not bad. And it's debuting at Sundance right now. So we'll see. He's determined to make this. He's trying to, appease Richard Simmons, saying, hey, man, we're going to do this right. Embrace it. It's okay.
He thinks, and Paulie's saying that he thinks that if Richard actually would see it, he thinks he'd like it. So,
Yeah. And, Paulie wants an Oscar for this thing. He's actively saying he's making this. He thinks that he can win an Oscar. And why not? I mean, you think about some of these roles. You think of Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler, things like that. It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think enough people would gravitate towards a Richard Simmons film. I think it's a great biopic, maybe. Mm-hmm. And who knows? But it's not. Playing Freddie Mercury in a film.
Did you ever have any run-ins with Richard Simmons?
I think I've met him a few times. Just in, I believe he was extremely Kato.
Of course he was.
Yeah. So
I
do remember I meeting him, and I don't know if he was wearing shorts or not. Those tight
I'd be
shorts.
shocked if he wasn't. I had one interaction with him. It was 1996.
Oh, no, I'm confused. I'm sorry. That was Hooters.
They are the same shorts, basically.
I think I met him. Yeah.
Okay, Kato, I had one interaction with Richard Simmons. It was 1996. It was in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It was at NBC Tower at NBC 5. He was doing something for maybe the midday show or the late afternoon show. I was in the makeup room coming out, getting ready for maybe the 5 o'clock newscast. He's coming this way. I'm coming that way. He's wearing the whole Sweating to the Oldies outfit. He had it all on. He stops him and he goes, doesn't that look delicious?
Yeah, I love it.
That's what he said about me. I'm so offended. Can I sue him? How horrible. Just kidding. No,
that had a bottle of avian water.
I know. That was Richard Simmons. So he's an icon. He's an icon, right? By the way, his claim to fame was Sweating to the Oldies. Over 3 million pounds have been lost by his clients.
Oh, yeah. It's great. What he did was great.
Okay. Now, one more. We got Snoop Dogg, right? So here's the story with Snoop Dogg. By the way, do you know his real name?
I do. It's
Calvin Brodus.
Yes, Calvin Brodus.
Calvin Brodus. People probably think you changed your name because it's such a catchy, to be born with that is a huge advantage when you want to become a big global superstar. Tom works for Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks. It's not a great name to have to make a difference out there just initially. But Snoop Dogg was the perfect moniker for him. So he's claiming that OnlyFans came to him and offered him $100 million to showcase his junk.
I can't believe it. I can't fathom that's true. Maybe it just sounds to $100 million. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I don't think, Tom, I just don't think that's a real story. I know it's a story that's out there, but I think it's sort of embellished with, $100 million.
Maybe that's what they want to see. What else is embellished? Maybe that's why they offered the money. Did you ever think of that? By the way,
like me making $100 million on every.
His wife put the kibosh to it. She says he's not going to do that.
He's his manager, by the way. His wife.
Yeah, she managed that career. Well done. $100 million. I don't know. I think a lot of the things.
Well, he's not going to do it.
Yeah,
She's not going to allow it to happen. And what is it? What's it going to prove?
There's a lot of things with OnlyFans that seems fabricated. Remember Black China? Yeah. She was supposed to be the highest earner on OnlyFans, and it was what, $5-10 million a month? They were saying there's no freaking way, unless porn is that big in this country, which it might be. But I think that was exaggerated. Is $100 million for one video with Snoop possible? I don't know.
No. I don't think so. And by the way, you don't want, if like a Black China, you don't want that out there in the news for people to think you're making that much money. First of all, it doesn't help you, and the government listens to these things. You don't want things that are embellished to get too big. There's no advantage to it.
Okay, so before we go, that does beg the question. Playgirl, cover, Kato Kaelin, $100 million?
By the way, no nudity. I'm in it. And the joke I used to do was like, why didn't you do nude there? Because I said, well, the issue would be May through August. I'm totally kidding. I'm very small. Very small.
Okay.
But no. But the thing was, that was all done sort of tongue-in-cheek. I met with them. They're terrific to me. And then we did a win a date with Kato back in the day. Mm-hmm. It could have not been more fun in my life to poke fun at me.
Sure.
Which I 100% did.
Okay, who made the call to you asking if you'd be interested in posing on the cover of Playgirl? And were there real negotiations by you saying, I'm not going to do any nudity?
Yeah, I went to a publicist. Then to the agency. So we did that and thought of every way we could make it, very tasteful. So we did it. We did it, and it was, like I said, I laughed my butt off, and it was fun. And you know what's funny is I didn't realize how gay of a magazine it was at that time, and how many people would write fan letters.
Oh, did you open yourself up to a whole new fan base?
I maybe it was already there. Who knows? But everybody, the letters that came in, I answered most of them. You know what, Tom, I did real quick? We're going to let you go because I know we're running way over. I used to get fan letters during that whole time in the 90s. Like cases. I've still got some and threw out some, but I mean stacked cases. I must have answered 90% of them. And I didn't realize most of them, a lot of them didn't come with a stamp and that. And I started thinking to myself, I spent a lot of money sending out my picture on that thing, which is good because maybe it made it build up a little.
I bet. I mean, we're talking thousands, right? I mean,
yes.
thousands is thousands. You're signing your headshot.
And I never, it's all me. I never did thing with tax like write off or I just did it.
Right. And handwritten notes, personal touch from Kato.
Okay, this is going to make someone's day, so I always want to pay it forward.
Yeah. The moral of that lesson is when you reach out to a celebrity, at least put in a self-addressed envelope, right? So they can take care of it or their people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's classic. By the way, how did the cover of Playgirl play in Milwaukee?
Huge. I think I did a whole tour there. Yeah, I did a whole tour in Milwaukee.
Great.
It was great. Like I said, when I would do the radio and the TV, I think you can see the personality, how I would talk about it. Seeing the cover, and you go, I hate that guy. But if you see me after I do the interview and all that, I think people will kind of get it.
How could anybody hate you? I think it was the preconceived.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, it was the preconceived notions. But even watching you in the trial, how could someone not embrace you? Like there are real haters out there for you.
Yes. Haters still. There's always going to be haters. I mean, when you got the internet, you have haters.
Do you think they're jealous that you propelled into fame from this or something, or what?
I think. I even said that. I said everything went backwards. I got famous for obviously the wrong reasons. I've said that 100 times. I got famous for the wrong reason. For whatever happened, my blueprint in life was, Kato, this is your path. So I embraced it. I can't change it. It's already happened. But never forgot the fact of why I'm famous. It went backwards. But I was already done commercials. I was there. I used to go to premieres all the time. But the thing is, now everybody knew me, and they thought, oh, now he's going to premieres. No, I had been doing it for years. And I knew everybody in town. Right. I already knew. I've had friends at New Line Cinema. I was doing readings for films. But
had your SAG card for over 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So I've had paid my dues.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you hit that fork in the road, because you already had established yourself in Hollywood, you had a foundation and you knew a lot of people, but you did have to choose at that point. Do I embrace this or do I run away from it? Right. A lot of people would hide. A lot of people would go into some funky depression and not be able to cope with it. Right. A lot of people would play that card that, you know what, I'm too good for this. No, I'm a serious actor. Right. This has halted that. But then you, maybe just naturally, because that's you, that's your personality, that's your DNA, your family, your upbringing. You said, I'm going to run with this. I'm going to embrace it and make the most of it.
People want to say they call me freeloader. They called me freeloader. I was a pariah, an assassin's target. That was me.
But that's all bullshit. How could anybody say that about you? Especially when you know the backstory that you were friends with Nicole, and she wanted you there, and you would have been at her house if she had her way, but OJ insisted that you take the bungalow.
I agree, and all that stuff will probably come out in documentaries. Hopefully, we're doing a bunch of those things, but we'll just hint to the people, so we'll do that. But
a little tease.
Yes.
All right, we nailed the top scandals of the week. All right, for Kato Kalin, I'm Tom Zenner. Make sure you download and subscribe to our show right here on YouTube. Follow us on social media, and we'll keep the clips coming.
1 Degree of Scandalous, the show.
Thanks for watching.